So as of next Monday, it'll be 12 weeks until the Abingdon Marathon, which means it's time for me to showcase the marathon training shoes. So at the start of my London Marathon training block back earlier this year, I showcased the shoes that I was going to be training the first half of my marathon training in, and then I provided an update video later on when I'd had a chance to test some more videos. And as I'm going to be testing more shoes later this year, I'll give you a starting point today of the shoes that I'm currently wearing and will continue to wear into this marathon training block, and then hopefully some of the ones at the end that might start to make an appearance as we move through the training block. So there'll be 5 shoes today that we're going to go through in the rotation, and I'm going to share a couple that I want to get at the end. I'll share with you the mileage in those shoes and how I'm using them and how I will be using them in the training block. 3 of them are at the beating heart of the rotation. There's one that will be used maybe for 2 or 3 more weeks before it gets shelved, and there's one on the subs bench. So without further ado, let's dive in and start with the Easy Run shoe. And that's where the Hoka Max 6 comes into play. At 194 miles, it's doing really well in my rotation, and for the moment, it's going to be in there for the foreseeable future. This is one of the 3 core shoes that I'm going to be using. I found it to be such a versatile shoe. It's been absolutely unbelievable, and right now I've got to be honest with you, no surprises, as you've probably heard me say on a few occasions, it's right up there for a shoe of the year contender for me. It obviously depends on durability. If I can get it to like 300 miles, then it's going to be right up there fighting for that space. But I think if it falls off earlier, then durability, as always with Hoka, will be the big downfall. However, right now it's doing well, and that's all I care about. I've been using it for my Easy Run since shelving the Saucony Triumph 22, and I've not shelved the Saucony Triumph 22 for any other reason that I just wanted to put more miles into the Max 6, because one of my missions this year, with Hoka being renowned for potentially not having the most durable shoes, is that I want to put as many miles into the Max 6 as possible to see how long it can go for. And to be honest with you, I've been absolutely loving it. It's been doing great and I've been feeling good, and I'm enjoying having a lighter shoe on foot for those easy runs. So the Max 6 is coming in there. And the next shoe in the list is the Brooks Hyperion Max 2. I'm really excited about this one. I've got a couple more runs in it since the video that I posted on this channel, and then I have indeed since posted a video on the extra channel showcasing a slightly longer 70-minute run. So I have done around 23 miles in it, not the huge amount of testing. I did a couple of runs before posting the video on here. I've now done an extra one, and it's going to be getting more use this week, and it's going to be getting plenty more use over the upcoming weeks. My concern with this shoe originally was the big changes. It is no longer the versatile Hyperion Max that we had before and that I loved, but what they have done is they've refined it into becoming such an incredible cruising shoe that when I did that 70-minute run, it just felt absolutely incredible. And I do wonder now if they've kind of tried to split the shoe in two by creating the Hyperion 2, by adding a bit of stack there, and then the Hyperion Max 2, and suddenly we've got these 2 shoes that did what the original Max did for me anyway. So where am I going to be using this shoe? I definitely know that I'm going to be using it on those moderate runs, those zone 2 runs. So effectively keeping it below the aerobic threshold, but taking my easy run and notching it up a level. I love those type of runs, and that's going to be where the medium long run comes into play. And then also probably on those LT1 sessions, on those double threshold days, which is the first session of the morning, is a lot more controlled. I feel like it's going to be brilliant around there. I haven't actually tested it yet around there, but I can kind of tell that that's where its sweet spot is going to be. And for me, it's going to be about sharing the load with that shoe, with the next shoe that I'm about to talk about. So again, a long cruising shoe is what I've got here in the form of the Max 2. And the Adidas Adios Pro 3 completes that 3-part lineup. If I had to have a 3-shoe rotation, this would be it. I'll talk about the other 2 shoes shortly and where they fit in. But the Adios Pro 3 has been a stellar shoe over the last couple of months for me. It's one of the ones that I shelved for a long period of time. I've adapted, I've modified, I've cut a hole in the toe box just so that the fit was a little bit odd, but now that has sorted it. It's been absolutely incredible. I've been using this shoe for LT1 and LT2 sessions. I've been using it for long runs, and of course some of the moderate runs as well, which is why I want the Hyperion Max 2 to come and take a little bit of the load off of the Pro 3, because the mileage in that shoe is rocketing and I'm really enjoying it. One of the reasons I enjoy it not only is because I absolutely adore the Lightstrike Pro foam, it's just incredible. I find that with the carbon rods it's much more natural than something like a carbon plate. And I don't want to train in carbon plates, as I've mentioned before in previous videos. In this one, I find that they aggravate my Achilles and calf, but I don't get any issues whatsoever when we're working with carbon rods. They work on each metatarsal. I find that when you sort of land, I still feel very natural. They've got that big slab of foam under your foot. I don't feel like my foot is landing and just rolling through as it would with a carbon plate. I still feel like my outside of my pinky toe is landing, and then I push off on my big toe, and it feels a lot more natural. And yeah, absolutely loving it. The cushioning is still going really strong after 250 odd miles. It is one heck of an investment. You can find the shoe on discount in a lot of places and a lot of times of the year. I highly recommend, like, if they work for you, they're absolutely fantastic. And at the moment, 250 odd miles, they're going really strong. The Saucony Kinvara 14 comes in next, around 168 miles on them for me, and they are pushing close to 200. And these are the ones that I'm going to be using for a couple more weeks before then moving on to more marathon specific workouts. And then at that point, I probably would find those shoes slightly, well, not as supportive enough. I used them in the build up to my London block, and then in and around that sort of 12-week mark before London, I switched them out for some bigger stack shoes. Same will happen this time. However, I am extending my shorter, faster workouts a little bit longer into this block than I did in my London Marathon block, hence why the Kinvaras will come back into play just for a couple more weeks. Over the last couple of weeks, actually, I have used the Pro 3 on those workouts, but once I've got this week's 5K out the way, I am going to go back to the Kinvaras just for a couple more times and use those. I would love to get those to 200 and see how they feel as well, because shoes like the Streakfly, shoes like the Takumi Sen, the Liberate Nitro, I've not found huge durability in those, in terms of, like, for me, my ankles do roll in a little bit too much on those shoes, but I felt nothing with the Kinvaras. They've been a super lightweight shoe, the lightest shoe that I have in my rotation, and they've been amazingly comfortable. So those are not going to be going anywhere just yet, but give it a couple of weeks and they'll be gone. And the Adidas SL2 is what is going to come in 5th place, and that is on the substitutes bench. And when I mean by that, I effectively mean it's a great shoe. I've been really enjoying it. I've made some modifications to it. If you saw that first video talking about fit and stuff, shallow toe box, just getting a little bit of pain around the toe area, I decided to keep the shoes. I've taken out the insole and it's pretty much sorted all the issues. I did get a bit of a blister in between my big toe and my next toe, but again, I seem to have sorted that out by just loosening the laces even more, and I'm enjoying those too. I think 28 miles, so I've got about 4 or 5 runs in those so far. Again, I find the versatility on those shoes great, and it's good to have a shoe like that as a backup, so that if for whatever reason any of these shoes decided to just go flat on me for whatever reason, I don't have to rush out and buy anything. I've got those shoes waiting if needs be, and they will drop in here and there for a bit of use every now and again, mainly on those easy runs, probably the moderate runs, and some of those low-key sessions. I did do a really fast session in it. Again, published a video on the Extra channel, and my word, it absolutely shifted. But I got to be honest with you, I did actually prefer the Max 6 when it came to speed. However, again, it's great, it's versatile, and it's exactly what I need in the rotation. And this rotation is going to stand strong for the first part of the marathon training block. However, things will probably change as we move through, as I get more shoes in for testing. The one thing I will say is, as I get closer to the race, there will be a little bit more testing with some carbon shoes, and I've got a variety of those at home. It might be the Saucony Endorphin Pro 4, it might be some of the Nike Next Percent, whatever it might be. I'll be dropping a couple of those in, maybe on some long runs, just good to get used to them, because effectively, obviously, we're going to be using a carbon plated shoe for the marathon when it comes around. The Alphafly 3, again, is going to be in contention for the shoe to be used. I'll get a couple more runs in that. So there'll be a sprinkling of those throughout as well, but there are 2 shoes that I have my eye on that I think will be good additions to this marathon training block. And those shoes are the Brooks Hyperion 2. That one I've already mentioned. I'd love to get that one. Obviously, the Brooks Hyperion Tempo and the Max were brilliant shoes for me. The Max 2 now, as I said, has changed a lot, and I do feel like they've split the shoe in 2. So I'd love to get the Hyperion 2. I feel like this could tackle a lot of the speed work. I've heard some good things about this shoe already. I've heard the rocker on it isn't quite as aggressive as the Max. However, it's still a really good lightweight shoe, and it has got added stack height from the first version, which I have tested. I did find fast, but I wasn't a huge fan of, so it'd be great to test it with a little bit more stack height. So that's number 1. And the other one, bit of a curveball, but the Asics Noosa Tri 16, I think, is the latest version. I'd love to give that one a go. You guys have been banging on about that shoe in the comments for years. Whatever version it's been, you said, Andy, you have to try the Noosa Tri. And I'm looking at it now and I'm thinking, this could be the solution to my sort of Hyperion Max issue. Again, the rocker looks relatively aggressive. I've heard it's slightly on the firmer side, it's lighter weight, it ticks all the boxes that I'm after. So if the Hyperion 2 doesn't get a shot, then potentially the Noosa Tri 16 will. It looks like a great, I mean, the colours and design on that shoe are absolutely incredible, but I've got to be honest with you, it really is appealing to me right now. And at the price tag, £140, I've got a 15% discount on sports shoes, which means I could get it for a bit cheaper. I am contemplating whether it might be worth the investment. I'm going to get going with what I've got for now, but that one might make an appearance throughout the training block. So there we go, that is my marathon training shoe rotation for Abingdon, or the first part anyway. It will change as we go through because more shoes will come in for testing, but for now I'm pretty darn happy with this. It's been going well for me so far, and I just don't want to change things right now. I'd love to hear from you guys what your marathon training shoe rotation is at the moment. Are you training for an autumn marathon? It'd be great to hear from you in the comments below. Let me know what your favourite shoes are and what is going strong for you, and of course mileage numbers would be great too, because I really have been blown away by the Adios Pro 3 and how well it's doing after so many miles. So have you got a shoe that is just pushing and pushing and pushing? It'd be great to hear from you down there. That's it from me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do consider giving it a like, share it with your friends, and of course subscribe to the channel for weekly running content, and I'll see you on the next one.